The Pit Press Podcast.
Get a chance to see Ehrlicher, the linebacker, who they say has the potential to be the best defensive player they've ever had in New Mexico.
Looking down the middle, throwing into coverage, and it's picked off by New Mexico. Hear the no, but Christian Washington says yes, yes, yes! Christian Washington! I don't need to take a knee. I want 6! Touchdown, New Mexico! And Kendrick back through the air where he struggled. That time right on the money! Jordan Porter! How about that for New Mexico? Where's that been all night?
Welcome to another episode of the Pit Press Podcast. My name is Ryan Tamori, and as always, I'm joined by the voice of the Western New Mexico Mustangs, and he's been a Lobo fan since 1970. Ed Nunez. Ed, how are you?
Doing great, Ryan.
Getting excited?
You know what? I think going to the press conference yesterday, then having Tavian today, and hearing Coach Gonzalez talk about the preparations, and then we had David Nuno on from A&M, and you were on A&M radio, Texas A&M radio yesterday. Yes, and then reading Sean Ryder's article in the paper yesterday. All the talk almost is ready to stop. It's Wednesday, hump day. So, yes, I'm getting very excited.
Yeah, perfect. I'm happy to have this next guest on. He is a safety for the UNM football team. In 2021, he led the Lobos with 81 tackles and led the team in interceptions. He was named Mountain West All-Academic in 2020, 2021, and 2022. I'm jealous of that. Mountain West Scholar, and he was a Mountain West Scholar athlete in 2020 and last year. His name is Tavian Combs. Tavian, how are you doing? And thank you for joining the show.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I'm doing great. Just happy to be here, ready to get to the game started, man. It's been a long week. We've been practicing a lot, getting ready, and been hitting on each other, and now it's time to go to somebody else. So.
I know it sounds cliche, but is it true? Do you get tired of hitting each other?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Just because after a couple of days, you start to understand like what each other is doing and stuff. And I don't know, it's still fun because it's a competitive practice, but I don't know. It's just ready. I'm ready to hit somebody else at this point.
No, that's understandable. Your situation is a little sad and maybe unique. You missed 3/4 of last season. You tore your ACL against UTEP. How's your recovery been? And can you talk about how hungry you are to get back on the field?
Yeah, I'm ready to get back on the field and do work. It's been a long process. It wasn't the hardest injury, I would say, but it was a really long process, and it took some time to recover from that. But I put the effort into it and the time into it, and I'm ready to get out on the field and do work. So I'm ready for that for sure.
I don't think anybody can say that Rocky Long is not the master of the 3-3-5 defense. Coach Long has long been known for that at UCLA, at UNM, San Diego State. How much of an adjustment has it been from Rocky Long calling the defensive signals now to Troy Redford?
It's nothing really different. It's kind of the same defense. We're gonna do the same type of schemes. I mean, I feel like everybody has their different little keys and stuff that they add to a defense, their little flavor and stuff. But at the end of the day, we're running the same defense, same 3-3-5 and stuff like that. And it's still the same calls. And now it's just kind of getting everybody else just moved into the defense, adjusted to the calls, and we've already gotten past that. So now it's just playing football. So.
Okay. Coach Redford is keeping a lot of the same 3-3-5 defensive principles that Rocky Long implanted, but I'm sure he wants to add some of his own wrinkles to it. Can you talk about what his visions are like for the 3-3-5? You mentioned it's similar, but there might be different calls during a game that he makes than Coach Long did. Is there any visions or wrinkles that you've seen him come up with that might be a little different?
I feel like it's all based off of situations, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't know. If I'm being honest, sometimes I never know what the coach is going to call. Like, I'll be out in the field and, like, he'll call certain covers. I'm like, oh, we're running that this play. And, like, at the end of the day, we're football players, so I just line up, play football, have fun. But, I feel like it's really going to be – it's all situational and depending on what's going on in the game is going to be what that will really show what's going to happen. So.
UNM lost 3 key defensive players, Cody Moon, Deion Hunter, A.J. Halsey. Do you think the Lobo defense can be better than what it was last year?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say at the end of the day, it all revolves around just going out there having fun, and then communicating. Communicating makes the game a lot easier. In my perspective, it allows you to think with everybody think with one brain, and when you're not thinking there during the play, it allows you to just go out there and play and have fun a little bit faster. So I feel like if everybody thinks with one brain and just communicates properly and goes out there at the end of the day and just has fun, we're going to be all right, and we can for sure be a better defense than what we have been in the past.
Are there any new guys on the defense that excite you and that should excite Lobo fan?
Yeah, I would say up front we've gotten one transfer two kind of Tyler Keeney. He transferred in a year ago, and then Gabe Lopez from Washington State up front. They've really been doing their thing this fall camp and throughout the spring. And then at the linebacker position, we've gotten Alec Marinko back, Dimitri Mihalis, guys like that. And then in the secondary, Christian Ellis, Noah Paul Gates, Jamarius Lewis, those type of guys. They've stepped up during the camp, just showing that they really can get on the field and ball. So I feel like there's been a lot of guys throughout the fall camp that's kind of stepped up and ready to go out there and work. So,
Tavian, we've been around Coach Gonzalez's last two press conferences. He seems very optimistic. It's hard not to root for Coach Gonzalez. He's a great guy, very optimistic. The team has added 42 new players via the transfer portal. What do you think Lobo fans can expect to see this season?
I feel like you're going to see a different team for sure. At the end of the day, I feel like every team's going to be different. You put in a lot of different, not different. It's going to be the same work, but you put in a lot of chemistry and time with different people, so you build different relationships. And at the end of the day, it's going to make a team different. And we put in a lot of work during our fall camp in the spring, connecting with each other, going out in the field and being competitive each and every day. So I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to see a very different Lobo football team that's out there ready to hit and be aggressive and play football.
Of those 42 transfers, one of them is quarterback Dylan Hopkins. What do you think of Dylan, and what is it like going against him every day in practice?
It's fun. At the end of the day, like I was saying, how it's a competitive practice. When you're out there with good athletes going hard every single day, trying to score on offense, it really makes you have to be on your P's and Q's every single day. Because if you go out there and you miss one step, it's a touchdown or they can have an explosive play, and we don't want that to happen on defense. So he makes really good plays in practice. He's a good quarterback. He knows how to get the guys to work around him and listen to him. So it's really fun going against him in practice and seeing how competitive that he is as well.
At the week, Coach Gonzalez does this or the football coach does this every fall at the weekly press conference, which was the first of the year. Coach Gonzalez had already mentioned it, but Coach singled you out as one of the defensive leaders. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot, just because I put a lot of time and effort into watching film and just doing my part on the team, trying to make sure everybody's living up to the standard of the defense. So I feel really good about that, and I feel like I don't want to let my teammates down, so I'm gonna keep going hard every single day for them and just do my part on the field.
How good of a cornerback is Dante Martin, and what kind of player is he?
Yeah, he's good. I like Dante. He don't really say much. He's not a real vocal guy, but when it comes to playing football and when the ball is snapped, you really don't have to worry about him too much. He's usually on his P's and Q's, and he knows what he's doing. And I trust him really a lot. And he does communicate when it comes down to certain situations on the field. But off the field, like I was saying, he's not really that talkative. But he's a cool dude. He's a good guy and really fun to play with.
Coach, we had David Nuno from the A&M media on the other day. He was talking about offensive coordinator, Texas A&M new offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino, and how they only averaged about 22 points a game last season in the SEC, and that wasn't good enough. So what challenges does the Texas A&M offense pose to the New Mexico defense?
Can you say it again?
What kind of challenges does the Texas A&M offense pose to the New Mexico defense on Saturday?
I feel like they just have a different scheme. Like you said, last year they had a certain offense that they're running, and now it's going to be a different type of scheme. So it's just making sure everybody's in sync and in communication. And like I was saying earlier, all just thinking with the same mind and going out there at the end of the day and having fun playing football. So I feel like, it's really just a different scheme that they're bringing to the table other than what they had brought last year.
Texas A&M head football coach Jimbo Fisher announced earlier this week the starting quarterback for the Aggies was going to be Connor Weigman. He beat out Max Johnson for the starting position. What do you know about Weigman, and how do you start preparing him to run this Aggie offense under Bobby Petrino? You mentioned new scheme, new quarterback. What kind of looks have you had at Weigman this week on film, and how have you started preparing for him?
Yeah, I feel like it's just watching his certain keys and tendencies that he does throughout the game and through film. That's usually what we was watched in the film room, and just making sure that we know like what he's alerting at the end of the day through those keys, and then at the end of the day just playing your technique, alignment, assignment, and playing football. So I feel like that at the end of the day, that's really the main thing, is just his keys that he gives out and little tendencies that he does throughout the game.
You played at Kyle Field. It was 2 years ago. Are you looking forward for another chance to go into this infamous stadium?
Yeah, for sure. It was a fun time while we were. I mean, I say that it was not fun because we lost. It was a cool experience being at the field and a big stadium and the crowds. It was. I didn't like losing. It was that sucked. But at the end of the day, we got to play there. We had an opportunity to play football and experience, I guess, losing like that. But going in here this year with a different mindset, ready to work and compete. I'm ready to go in there and play football again in that stadium.
What are you telling some of the younger guys who have never been in a stadium like this?
Really just go out there and have fun. Like, it's gonna be loud, of course. I'm pretty sure it's one of the biggest stadiums in football, if I'm not mistaken, in college football. It's gonna be loud. The fans are gonna be booing and doing their thing, but just go out there and just have fun and understand, like, we're here for a reason. It's a business trip, and just really just have fun and do what you do at the end of the day. This is what I'm telling them.
You know, Tavian, you've got Texas A&M this week for the season opener, Tennessee Tech next week here at home. Following week is New Mexico State. Is that the premier game on the calendar, or, being cliche, taking it one game at a time? Because we're already hearing, Aggie talk, and that game is 3 weeks away. You got to take care of business with Texas A&M first, Tennessee Tech. But is that game against the Aggies, considering New Mexico State beat the Lobos last year in Las Cruces, does that game loom larger than any other game on the schedule?
I feel like at the end of the day, we just take it week by week and put in the work for each team that we're playing that week, and put our mindset on them each and every week. And when the next opponent comes, we kind of watch for that opportunity and just put our mindset on those opponents. So just taking it week by week and day by day, and kind of not being too prepared. Like, of course, they're a rival. We want to go down there and win and dominate, of course. But at the end of the day, just taking it week by week and focusing on that.
He's a safety for the UNM football team. His name is Tavian Combs. Tavian, we really appreciate your time. Thank you, and best of luck this Saturday in College Station.
Of course, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good luck,
you,
man. Thanks a lot. You bet. Thank you.
Of course.